Rain hammered the highway like bullets. A beat-up truck swerved wildly, its headlights blinding the luxury car in front. Inside the car, a man in a tailored suit froze, his polished hands slipping on the steering wheel. Death was seconds away. That's when she appeared. The woman wore faded clothes, her sneakers caked in mud. She didn't scream or hesitate. With a strength that defied her small frame, she leaped into the road, arms outstretched, as if she could stop the roaring truck with her bare hands. Crash! Metal screamed. Glass exploded like diamonds in the storm. The millionaire's car spun, but the truck, now flipped on its side, missed him by inches. The woman lay crumpled in the wreckage, blood mixing with rainwater. Why did you?" the millionaire stammered, crawling toward her. His Rolex glinted under a broken streetlight. The woman's eyes flickered open. "Run," she whispered. Then her body went still. At the hospital, machines beeped like angry insects. Doctors huddled around the woman's bed, their voices sharp. "Her injuries, they're healing on their own," one nurse muttered. "Look at her X-rays, it's like her bones are rearranging." The millionaire lurked outside the room, his silk tie crooked. Guilt clawed at his throat. He pulled out a phone, dialed a number, and hissed, "The subject's alive. Prepare Lab 7. By dawn, strange things happened. The woman's scars vanished. Her hair turned snow-white overnight. And when she finally woke, her first words sent chills through the staff, "They're coming. The ones who made him." Then she pointed at the millionaire's photo on the news, and her fingertip began to glow. The millionaire's hands shook as he stared at the hospital security footage. On the screen, the woman's glowing fingertip burned brighter, searing the millionaire's photo into ash. A nurse screamed, scrambling away from her room. "What have I done?" he whispered, his reflection fractured in the cracked monitor. But he already knew. 3 hours earlier, the millionaire had stood outside the woman's hospital room, clutching a black briefcase. Inside lay vials of shimmering blue liquid, the same substance that had once saved his daughter's life. Until it killed her. "Sir, her blood results are impossible," a doctor stammered, waving papers. "Her DNA rearranges itself every hour. It's like she's evolving." The millionaire's jaw tightened. He'd seen this before. Flashback, 2 years earlier. "Papa, it hurts." The little girl writhed on the lab table, her veins pulsing blue. The millionaire, then just a desperate father, injected more serum into her fore. "Fight it, sweetheart. This will make you strong." But the monitors flatlined. Her last word was, "Why?" Now, in the hospital hallway, the millionaire opened the briefcase. The blue vials glowed like cursed treasure. "I'll fix my mistake," he told the doctor. "Use her blood. Reverse engineer the serum." "But sir, if we test on her, do it." The woman woke to cold metal restraints. Men in hazmat suits drew syringes of her glowing blood. Her arms ached with needle marks, old and new. How long had she been here? "Subject's cellular regeneration exceeds Project Phoenix parameters," a voice muttered. "Sir, she's the first success." The millionaire watched through bulletproof glass. "My daughter's formula, it finally works." But the woman heard everything. When the guards changed shifts, she moved. Her bones shifted silently. The restraints snapped like twine. For a moment, her skin shimmered, scales, feathers, before settling into human form. "What am I?" She stumbled into a restricted lab. Walls glowed with strange symbols matching those now etched on her palms. A screen flashed, "Project Phoenix, Immortality Trial 127" video clips played, a soldier surviving a grenade blast, then melting into sludge. A CEO's aging reversed, until his heart exploded. a little girl screaming as blue veins consumed her. The woman recoiled. That's the millionaire's voice. On the video, he wept over the girl's body. I'll bring you back, I swear. Alarms blared. She's loose. The woman ran, bare feet slapping cold floors. She burst into a parking garage, the night air biting her lungs. A homeless vet with a graying beard froze, his grocery cart blocking her path. Please, she gasped. They'll kill me. Tires screeched behind them. Black SUVs skidded into the garage. The vet grabbed her hand. This way, now. The vet's grip was rough but steady as he pulled the woman into a narrow alley. Behind them, car doors slammed. Heavy boots pounded the wet pavement. Stay low, the vet growled, his voice a rasp of cigarettes and old pain. He shoved aside a dumpster, revealing a hidden gap in the fence. Through here, move. The woman scrambled through, her torn hospital gown snagging on rust. The alley opened into a crowded street, where neon signs buzzed and Friday night crowds blurred into a sea of umbrellas. A drone dropped from a vent, metallic jaws snapping. The woman screamed. Without thinking, she grabbed the drone. Her hands blazed white-hot. The machine writhed, then melted into molten sludge. The vet stared. Well. That's new. They emerged near a derelict church, its steeple cracked. The vet kicked open a side door. Safe here. For now. Inside, candlelight revealed makeshift beds and faded photos pinned to walls, missing persons, most crossed out. My congregation, the vet said bitterly. He tossed her a protein bar. Eat. You're glowing. She looked down. Her veins shimmered blue under her skin. They put something in me, she whispered. In that hospital. Outside, SUVs surrounded the building. A voice crackled through a megaphone, come out willingly, and we'll spare the old man. The woman stepped toward the door. Don't, the vet snapped. They'll dissect you. I can't let you die for me. He grabbed her arm. Listen, girl. I've been waiting 20 years to spit in their eyes. Tonight's a good night to go out loud. Before she could protest, he shoved her into a hidden cellar. Stay. Breathe quiet. The woman crouched in darkness, trembling. Above, she heard shouts, then a gunshot. Run, the vet roared. Tears blurred her vision. The symbols on her skin flared brighter, lighting up the cellar. And that's when she saw it, a dusty crate stamped with a familiar logo, Phoenix Foundation. Inside lay files, and a syringe filled with glowing blue liquid. The woman's trembling fingers pried open the crate. Dust billowed into the air, mixing with the faint glow of her skin. Inside, yellowed files bore the Phoenix Foundation logo, a bird engulfed in flames. She grabbed the syringe, its blue liquid identical to the vials the millionaire had carried. Don't. The voice in her head wasn't hers. It sounded young. She dropped the syringe. The cellar walls flickered, and suddenly, she wasn't alone. A ghostly figure materialized, a little girl in a hospital gown, veins glowing blue. They called me Trial 12, the girl whispered. He's my papa. He never stopped trying to save me, even after I died. Flashback, the vet's secret 5 years earlier. The vet, clean-shaven, wearing a lab coat, stood in a pristine lab. On a monitor, the millionaire addressed a shadowy boardroom. Project Phoenix will conquer death. My daughter's sacrifice won't be in vain. The vet slammed his fist on the table. This is madness. The serum corrupts DNA, it's a plague. He stormed out, stealing a crate of evidence, and the last surviving sample. Back in the cellar, the woman understood. The vet had saved the syringe for someone who could end this. Above, boots stomped. Search every inch, a man barked. The ghost girl reached for her. Use the serum. It's the only way to stop him. But it'll kill me, the woman breathed. You're already dying, the girl said. The changes, they'll consume you. This serum is different. I made it. The woman hesitated. Then, footsteps thudded down the cellar stairs. She jammed the syringe into her arm. Fire exploded in her veins. She collapsed, vision blurring. The ghost girl smiled. Thank you. When the woman opened her eyes, the world was sharp. She could hear the guards' heartbeats. See heat signatures through walls. Feel the hum of the spider's circuits. And the serum? It whispered to her. They're vulnerable to water. She burst upstairs. 2 guards lunged. With a flick of her wrist, a broken pipe erupted, dousing them. Their spider drones short-circuited, collapsing. She's upgraded, a guard yelled into his radio. Requesting. The woman tore the radio from his hand. Tell your boss I'm coming. She crushed it, then fled into the storm. Rain lashed the woman's face as she sprinted through the storm, her bare feet slapping against wet pavement. The serum's power surged through her like lightning, every raindrop felt like a bullet, every gust of wind a map. But the whispers in her head grew louder. Left, alley, hide. She ducked into a narrow passage reeking of garbage. The voice wasn't the ghost girl's. It was the vet's. How, she breathed, clutching her throbbing temple. The serum, it's got my memories. I injected myself years ago, paid the price. Images flashed, the vet collapsing in a lab, blue veins spreading as he deleted Project Phoenix files. His final act before becoming a fugitive. Listen, the vet's voice urged. The millionaire's building a new lab under the river. He's got dozens hooked to machines, draining their blood to fix his formula. Stop him, or this curse never ends. Meanwhile, in the underground lab the millionaire stared at a cryochamber holding his daughter's body. Tubes siphoned glowing liquid from her veins into a massive tank. Just a little more, he murmured, pressing a hand to the glass. Your DNA will purify the serum. No more deaths. I promise. A scientist cleared his throat. Sir, the woman's location, she's heading here. The millionaire's eye twitched. Redirect all drones. I want her alive. The woman reached the river docks. The vet's voice guided her to a rusted door hidden under a bridge. He's below. And, girl? Yeah? Don't trust your eyes down there. The door creaked open. Stairs spiraled into darkness. The lab stench hit her first, antiseptic and rot. Then came the sounds. Beeping machines. Gurgling breaths. A child sobbing. She crept past rows of glass pods. Inside each floated a person, their bodies twisted, scales, extra limbs, hollow eyes. Tubes siphoned their glowing blood. At the lab's heart stood the millionaire, gripping a syringe filled with golden liquid. It's ready, he told his daughter's corpse. Your DNA stabilized it. No more pain. The woman stepped into the light. You're stealing from her now? He whirled, syringe trembling. You don't understand. This serum will save millions. Like it saved them? She gestured to the pods. A boy with gills pressed his palm to the glass, mouthing, help. The millionaire's mask cracked. I had to try. My daughter is gone, the woman said softly. And you're killing others to play God. Alarms blared. Red light strobed. Intruder alert. Containment breach. The pods shuddered. Fists pounded glass. The millionaire backed toward his daughter's chamber. You've doomed us all. The woman's skin began to flake, glowing particles swirling around her. The serum was burning through her. Fast. The tank, the vet's voice hissed. Destroy it. She lunged, but the millionaire stabbed the golden serum into his neck. No, she screamed. His veins lit up gold. He gasped, rejuvenated, younger, stronger. I'll fix everything. He seized her throat. But as his grip tightened, his skin cracked. Gold liquid oozed from his eyes. And no, this was pure. The woman pried his hands away. Your daughter's DNA rejected you. He collapsed, writhing. The lab shook. Pods shattered. Run, the vet's voice roared. The woman grabbed the crying boy from his pod and fled. Behind her, the millionaire screamed, not in pain, but in grief, as the lab imploded. The river swallowed the lab's ruins, bubbles rising like ghosts. On the shore, the woman collapsed, the rescued boy clinging to her. Her skin flickered, scales, then feathers, then flesh, as the serum's power waned. He's alive, the vet's voice warned. And he's angry. A hand burst from the water, skeletal and glowing gold. The millionaire clawed his way onto land, half his face melted, the other horrifically youthful. You ruined everything. The boy screamed. The woman shoved him behind her. Run to the city. Find help. 2 hours later the millionaire's limo screeched into an abandoned warehouse. The woman sat bound in the back seat, her wrists raw from glowing restraints. Why save me, he rasped, driving a needle into her arm. Her blood swirled gold, stabilizing his decay. You could have let me drown. She glared. I'm not you. He flinched. For a moment, the grieving father resurfaced. I just wanted to hear her laugh again. Then his radio crackled. Sir, the board demands the subject. Or they'll terminate Project Phoenix. The millionaire's gold eye twitched. Prepare the transfer, he whispered. In a concrete room, scientists surrounded the woman. Full extraction, the millionaire ordered, avoiding her gaze. Take all her blood. You'll kill me, she said quietly. He paused at the door. Your sacrifice will save millions. Liar. It'll save you. The door slammed. Midnight the woman lay drained, her glow dimming. The millionaire entered alone, clutching a photo of his daughter. I'm sorry, he muttered, pressing a scalpel to the woman's chest. I need her heart. But as the blade touched her skin, now, the vet's voice roared. The woman's eyes snapped open. You should have killed me faster. The serum's last spark ignited. Her restraints shattered. She grabbed the scalpel and plunged it into the millionaire's golden vein. He howled, corruption spreading like wildfire. What did you do? Gave you what you deserved, she hissed. Humanity. Chaos erupted. The woman smashed lab equipment, freeing caged test subjects. But the millionaire, now aging rapidly, crawled to a terminal and typed frantically. If I can't have her, no one will. The warehouse shuddered. Self-destruct lights flashed. Go, the vet's voice urged. East exit, now. She fled with the others as fire swallowed the building. Behind her, the millionaire whispered his daughter's name, and vanished in the blaze. Dawn. In the ashes, the woman found a melted USB drive. The vet's voice sighed. He hid backups. This isn't over. She pocketed the drive, then noticed her reflection in a puddle. Her hair was jet black again. Her scars gone. Normal. But as she turned, the boy pointed at her shadow, stretching unnaturally, forming wings. The woman stared at her winged shadow, frozen. The boy tugged her sleeve. Are you an angel? No, she whispered. But I know someone who tried to be. The vet's voice hummed in her mind. The USB, find a terminal. Quick. They broke into an abandoned library, its computers thick with dust. The woman jammed the melted USB into a port. The screen flickered, revealing encrypted files titled Project Phoenix, Genesis. Video log 1, the millionaire, younger and trembling, faced a shadowy boardroom. My daughter's DNA is unstable. We need healthy test subjects to perfect the serum. A masked figure nodded. Use the homeless. No one will miss them. Video log 27, the vet, clean-shaven, in a lab coat, argued with the millionaire. These people aren't lab rats. Shut this down now. The millionaire shoved him. You're fired. And if you talk, you'll vanish too. Final entry, security footage showed the vet sneaking into the lab at night. He injected himself with the serum, then destroyed the servers. As guards dragged him away, he grinned at the camera. Burn in hell, Phoenix. The woman's fists clenched. You sacrificed yourself to stop them. And you're gonna finish it, the vet's voice said, fading. The board's meeting tonight. They'll launch Phoenix worldwide, unless you crash the party. The screen flashed an address, 45 degrees north, 73 degrees west, Phoenix Foundation HQ. Where's that? The boy asked. The woman zoomed the map. A skyscraper, in the middle of the ocean. Meanwhile, on a private jet the shadowy board members sipped champagne, their masks glinting. The girl's blood sample is en route, one said. Phoenix goes live at dawn. Immortality. For the highest bidder. A mercenary in the corner cocked his gun. And if she shows up? The board laughed. Then we'll add her to the auction. Sunset at the dock. The woman stood at the water's edge, the boy asleep in a donated blanket. Her shadow wings stretched wider, humming with power. You can fly now, the vet's voice urged. But it'll burn the last of the serum. You'll be mortal. She glanced at the boy. What happens to him if I fail? Same as all of us. But that's not your choice, it's theirs. The woman closed her eyes. Wind lifted her hair. Stay with the librarian, she told the boy. I'll come back. He hugged her leg. Promise? She hesitated. Promise. Midnight over the ocean the woman soared, her wings slicing through clouds. Below, the Phoenix HQ glittered, a glass fortress on an artificial island. Land on the west tower, the vet's voice guided. Avoid the ZZZT. A missile streaked toward her. She barrel rolled, but the blast clipped her wing. We've been expecting you, a voice boomed from speakers. Surrender, or we'll shoot the boy next. The woman's blood ran cold. On a rooftop screen, the boy sat gagged in a steel chair. The mercenary pressed a gun to his head. Tick-tock, hero, the mercenary sneered. The woman hovered midair, her wings flickering like dying embers. The mercenary's gun pressed harder against the boy's temple. Land now, the speaker voice growled, or his brains paint the floor. Her gaze locked with the boy's. He shook his head, tears streaming. Don't do it. You know what to do, the vet's voice whispered, barely audible now. But it'll cost you. The woman closed her eyes. What's stronger, wings, or a promise? She dove. Inside Phoenix HQ the board members clapped as guards dragged the woman into a chrome-plated hall. Her wings had vanished, her skin pale and mortal. Brave, but stupid, a masked board member sneered. He held up a vial of her golden blood. This will earn us billions. And you, well, he nodded to a glass tank filled with black liquid. You'll be our factory. The woman stared at the boy, bound nearby. Let him go first. The board laughed. No deals. Drown her. Guards shoved her into the tank. The liquid burned, seeping into her pores, her screams bubbling silently. The boy thrashed. Stop. But the woman smiled. Because the liquid wasn't poison, it was nanobots. And she'd spent her last spark of serum to hack them. Do it, the vet urged one last time. Her eyes snapped open, glowing gold. The nanobots surged into the air, forming a swirling storm. What's happening? A board member shrieked. The woman's voice boomed through the bots. You wanted immortality? Here it is. The swarm attacked. Chaos erupted. Nanobots shredded masks, revealing the board's faces, wrinkled, scarred, terrified. They scrambled as the bots reversed their age. A CEO crumbled to dust. A general became a screaming infant. The woman burst from the tank, her skin cracking. She freed the boy, then staggered to the control panel. End it, the vet's voice pleaded. She slammed the self-destruct button. Alarms wailed. The island shook. Come on, the woman yelled, dragging the boy to the rooftop. Behind them, the building collapsed into the sea. Her legs gave out. The boy caught her, sobbing. You promised. You said you'd come back. She touched his cheek. Look up. Dawn broke. The nanobots, now harmless, glittered in the sunrise like fireflies. They're free, she whispered. And so are we. Epilogue. 1 month later the boy sat on a park bench, sketching in a notebook. His foster parents, a retired teacher and her husband, laughed nearby, feeding pigeons. A news headline blared, Phoenix Foundation exposed. Survivors reunite with families. The boy flipped to his last drawing, a woman with wings, flying into the sun. A shadow fell over him. He looked up, and gasped. The woman stood there, no longer glowing, her hair streaked with white. Alive. How? She smiled. Turns out mortality's got perks. Like second chances. Final scene. The woman walked away, vanishing into the crowd. The boy's foster mom called, time to go, sweetie. He closed his notebook. On the back, he'd written the lesson she'd whispered to him in the flames. True strength isn't in your blood, it's in what you choose to protect.